This is sort of the reason I was even saying that was how different it is. It's like those are the different things that you get canceled for in that industry. You know what I mean? Like in this thing, it's like it's like this guy went on an N-word tirade. You know what I mean? In that industry, it was like this guy's a fucking bit of a jerk to the employees, right?
Yeah.
So I'll just read the thing. Fallon, his charm and creativity were on full display, and then there was bad Jimmy days where, according to the former employees, the Tonight Show had a toxic workplace for years, and the staffers joked about wanting to kill themselves regularly. They had crying rooms. The crying rooms are amazing. Yeah. And that's where they would go to let out their emotions. I don't know if it was kind of a joke, but it still does. So this is Ellen got busted for being mean. Yeah, Jimmy Fallon got busted for being mean. And by the way, I know he's your buddy. I would say Jimmy Fallon's the best one of those guys.
Probably. So. Yeah, he's a little bit more flavor.
Well, he just hasn't been like that annoying to me. Like he just laughs too much, or like his,
That's
whatever.
all he kind of does. He's kind of like
he's just like a goofy guy or whatever.
Even talking to him, you're just like, hey, and he's kind of like, yeah.
Oh, even when you went in the pre-interview?
Yeah, like afterwards, he kind of just like, hey, yeah, and he like ask a question, and he kind of just like nothing there. He's just sort of
interesting.
Just sort of like he met my girl too, and he was kind of like, oh, hey, good to Like he wouldn't say like nice to meet you or anything like that. It's kind of like just like okay. I feel like he has to mention just like the people are just waddling him around, and he's just like
he just gets carded out.
Dude, yeah, next thing you know, he's like doing the hokey pokey with fucking Matt Damon or something. It's like crazy. It's just like. He's gonna wake up one day just like, what was that? That was just a whirlwind of
that was a weird 20 years.
Just a montage of banging the desk and laughing at nothing.
That's so true.
He's so good at it.
Yeah, because you're probably like in your room just like so nothing, and then they're like, go time. It's like potato sack with Danny DeVito. Yeah. We just have to like fucking
egg and spoon race. With Miley Cyrus. It's like, why are we doing this?
We're doing a karaoke competition with Nancy Pelosi.
By the way, crying room's so funny. Imagine walking out of the crying as a guy. Imagine walking out of the crying room and then just people see you. You're like, I just having a bit of crying there, fellas.
I mean, it makes...
Sorry, just hitting up the cry room, but just whack it off.
Yeah, because Jimmy said that our jokes were bad.
Just some guy lying. I'm hitting the crying room, and he's just like on his phone for 20 minutes. Boo!
Splash a little water on his face.
There's gotta be. Was there any genders revealed about these?
Obviously, it was on all the...
Well, this is the kind of thing that... so, you 100% right. Duh, that's like a big part of it. But you actually do think there is something to be said about, like, if you think all the stories about the old late night hosts, it was like, they were basically like a boss on a construction site.
Yeah.
It was just like, you hear like, this guy fucking tore me a new one. But those were all male writers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes. It was an industry standard.
Yes, like writers weren't women before. So my point is, obviously, it's the girls, kind of created like in a more safe environment. But that being said, I also do say if you are a boss, it is a little bit different tearing a woman a new one.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like bullying almost in a way, isn't it?
Just with employees. If you run a store and you tear fucking the dude, you're like, what the fuck are you doing? You like, what's wrong with you? Like, but if you say that to a girl, like, it is just different.
You're screaming at some guy. You're a moron.
I would never do that.
Women cry.
Yeah.
Because you know a guy's not going to cry. A guy might be like, you want to fucking fight or something? But like a guy's not going to cry.
She starts dangling.
Whereas like, that a girl, you're like, if you keep going, she's going to start crying.
I know.
And then
she starts dangling the crying room key. Oh, you got to zip it up.
You're a ding-a-ling-a-ling. Yeah, like Pavlovian's bell.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, take it back. Sorry, no, be as late as you want.
Yeah.
No, you're right. Forget about the deadlines I set.
It is wild, though, that they started hiring like all these just like different women writers and stuff, and then the shows started to get really bad.
You know
what's that? No.
Do you know what's even funnier?
It's like Freakonomics.
This whole chapter. It goes, it's weird. The moment they hired their first non-binary writer, that's when this massive drop happens. We charted it out in laughed
wild
for minutes.
Theory.
The ratings just went boop, like a fucking elevator shaft breaking.
Also, the host got a lot meaner.
Yeah, exactly. The host instantly got meaner.
She's like, yeah, he used to be a good guy, and then all of a sudden, no complaints, and then I don't know what. All of a sudden, so overnight, everyone started complaining about how mean he was.
Wow.
Well, you know what's actually even funnier? Because the truth is, like, we know a million people that write on these shows, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's the weirdest mix right now because it really is like cool black guys and like non-binary women. Like,
Yeah.
Because you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It really is like every show. How many times have you had like a comedy club and a guy's doing like a, you know when you be fucking your girl, and then he's like, yeah, this guy's the head writer of Seth Meyers. Like, what the fuck?
And there's like also the 3 old white guys that are just like clinging on for dear life.
And then 3 old white guys.
Yeah, who are like who've been there forever, and they're just like they have no job prospects after whatever this thing ends. Yeah, like nobody's gonna.
No, it's true because those are the guys that like they would let Fallon yell at them. That's why they're there. They're the guy that like Fallon comes in, their hair is blowing back in the wind as he yells at them. Just like there's a wind machine. Yes, sir. Like they're just taking it. The white guys are gluttons for punishment, man.
Just get coffee splashed in their face and stuff. They're like, good aim, Jim. Yeah, I deserve that.
They're the type of guy that he slaps him, he misses, he gives himself one just to...
My bad, I shouldn't have been so hard to hit, James. Yeah, you're. They love it. Meanwhile, all these girls. He said, "Good job." He didn't say, "Great job."
I mean, running one of those shows, as much as we talk shit about it, it's like would be crazy hard. Like you're doing a fucking hour and a half a day. You got 1 million people, so yeah, you can imagine. how hard
they talked about it. Guess how many employees the Tonight Show has total?
30, 40,
60.
302.
Wow.
What the fuck? They have the crying room janitor, the pillow supplier.
Dude, they have over 300 people that are required to crank out an episode of the Tonight Show.
So much real estate caught up in crying rooms.
They're not all like that. I can't remember. I think Seth Meyers said he was like in the 80 or something, or John Oliver or something. But like,
okay, well I take it back then.
It's 300 people.
It's been going for years, and it is a well-oiled machine. Like you get in there, everyone's running around like the man in the Titanic.
Yeah, they're all pretending to work. There's 300 of them.
That's fair.
Yeah, they're all like, this is what we need to be running around all like busybodies, because otherwise people are gonna be like, what do you do?
It's probably hard for Fallon to get a yell into all of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Man, he doesn't even know who to yell. He's like, who's like,
does this guy work here? Yeah, you're fucking up.
I can't even imagine him yelling. Like I can't even imagine that coming out of him.
It probably wasn't that crazy.
I don't think
it's just like he's probably like, it wasn't that and again, he's the face of the whole thing, so like some writer can just like mail in a bunch of shitty jokes all week. It's like they're not really affected. They're probably like, if it's some non-binary chick, they can't even fire them. So then you're like, it's just him who's just looks bad.
Changing someone, like getting someone on board of like a comedy vision's really hard, and you probably doesn't have a lot of time for essentially training. So I guess you get to the point where you're like, maybe if I yell, that'll help or something.
Yeah, because they're on a deadline. They're rehearsing during the day. They're trying to get you to fix things, and then they keep messing up. I watched the rehearsal. It was, by the way, when I was there for the show, one of the best environments of all time.
Yeah.
Everyone that went with me, too. From the second you walk into the end, we watched the whole rehearsals. We were hanging out, doing all this stuff. It was like the nicest place ever. It seemed like incredible place to work. We were just like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
It was so much fun.
Food trays, like all this stuff.
Maybe they hide the criers in the back, but where I was seemed great.
Yeah, it's 17 employees too. I mean, you know what else is true? While they were there, like that's the other thing with these kind of jobs, like they're so hard to get, and there isn't that many of them, right? So like, while they're there, there's probably a little bit of like, holy shit. Like now that they're, not working there or whatever, they have time to think. You know what I mean? And that's when you have time to stew. And this is the like, your boyfriend went on like a trip after a week, 2 weeks. Now he's been gone for 4 months. You're like, kind of, he's a piece of shit if you think about it. Like, you know what I mean? Like they're so removed from the whole thing.
That is so weird that they come out while they're on strike. They're like, the show's not on. And they're like, what we should do? A fucking hit piece to maybe make sure that the show doesn't come back.
On our boss.
Well, that's all she does. That journalist, by the way, that's all she does is hit pieces. That's like her type of journalism.
Yeah, it's the worst type of journalism.
Stupid hit pieces. But I think everyone agreed, though, as long as there's no like physical or sexual assault, harassment, no one really cares. It's like you're allowed to be mean. No one said he's not. What the fuck? Do your job better. I don't know
exactly.
what.
Yeah.
Like, who cares?
Well, I mean, also, it's like you sort of. It's up to you're just trying different things probably as a boss, because a lot of times you're like, okay, you do want to have like a fun environment. So maybe if you're mean too much and it makes it less fun, you kind of now you tweak it the other way.
Yeah.
And then usually being mean is like a last string. Like as anyone who's probably running any sort of like comedy production, if you're like yelling at people, that's because you're like, I don't know what else to fucking try.
Yes. Yeah.
Like this isn't working.
For sure.
Like on a construction site, you're probably more like, hey, okay, that's what. Did you when you've worked on a construction site, right? Was there crying booths or how did that work?
There was fist fights. There was fist fights regularly in construction, and then you would just go back to work. No one would be suspended. It was kind of like a toxic environment.
Yeah.
Like, that was a proper toxic environment where they would be screaming at you. I remember.
Probably what Carson was like. It's probably what the writers' room and Johnny Carson was like. They just all fucking
you just get used to it. And go, you're a moron. That's screaming at each other is just like it's part of the industry.
Yeah,
kitchen's gonna. I like that too, right?
Ed McMahon puts a cigar out on your arm or something, and then you go back to work.
Well, that's what now. Obviously there is a bit of like you can get clout by writing the article about it, but I don't know if any of these people are getting any buzz off of being one of 17. Probably the first person was like, I'm going to be the guy that's like, the Kurt always called the Ellen one nice gate, but someone was like, I'll be the first person, the face of this story that takes down Jimmy Kimmel, and then they're like, no, you're one of 17, and they're like,
did they actually?
I put my fucking name out there on the line.
Were their names actually released?
I think they went anonymous.
Didn't even get a photo of me in the thing.
That's the thing. They're not that. They know their real worth because they would never actually put their names on it because they know like, oh, there's no. I'm not going to level up here because doing this where sometimes you might like